What's going on, everybody? This your man Drake Man coming to you again with just a quick video today talking about the crisis going on at Marvel. It's crisis at Marvel. So I wanted to make a quick video real quick and discuss what is going on. One of the reasons why I didn't want to go live, I know there's a couple of my guys online that's what I'm saying, that's watching. So I didn't want to interfere with them being live and stuff like that. And plus, I don't have a lot of time because I do have to be at work. So let's go ahead. Let's get into what is going on right now. What is going on at Marvel, where Variety is saying that there's a crisis going on. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys, and let's go and talk about this Variety article. And I'm going to full screen this because I'm going to read it so we can be able to go over it together and find out exactly what is going on with Marvel right now. So this is coming from the Variety, and a lot of people, how I feel about the Variety, especially with the coverage of Jonathan Majors. So I'm going to go ahead and read this in its entirety, and then we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you, kind of how I feel about it. You know what I mean? So this is Crisis at Marvel. Jonathan Majors' backup plans, the Marvel's reshoots, reviving the original Avengers, and more issues revealed by Tatiana Siegel, and we know who Tatiana Siegel is. Tatiana Siegel is still the person who has been attacking Jonathan Majors, not bringing up the insiders information, but just going directly at Jonathan Majors, not paint a complete picture. So anything she says about Jonathan Majors, I always look at as biased opinion piece instead of basically journalism integrity when it comes to that. But let me get off of that. This past September, a group of Marvel creators, including studio chief Kevin Feige, assembled in Palm Springs for the studio's annual retreat. Most years, the vibe would have been confident, even cocky, given how the premier superhero brand owned by Disney since 2009 has remade the entertainment business in its image. But this occasion was angst-ridden. Everyone at Marvel was rolling from a series of disappointments on screen, a legal scandal involving one of his biggest stars, and questions about the viability of the studio's ambitious strategy to extend the brand beyond movies into streaming. The most pressing issue to be discussed at the retreat is what to do about Jonathan Majors, the actor who has been poised to carry the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but instead is heading into a high-profile trial in New York later this month on domestic violence charges, which is still crazy to me that this is a misdemeanor. This is a misdemeanor case, and they're making it seem like this man killed her. Like this is the OJ trial. You know what I mean? But let me digress. Let me get through the actual reading. The actor insists he is the victim, but the damage of his reputation and a chance he could lose the case has forced Marvel to reconsider its plans to center the next phase of this interlocking slate of sequels, spin-off, the series around Major's villain's character, Kane the Conqueror. Next, at the gathering in Palm Springs, executives discussed backup plans, including pivoting to another comic book adversary, Dr. Doom. But making any shift will carry its own headaches. Was already a big presence in the MCU, including as the scene-stealing antagonist in February's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And he has been positioned as the franchise next big thing in the season of Loki, particularly in the finale, which airs November the 9th, and sets up Kang as the titular star in the fifth Avengers film in 2026, which is Secret Wars. All right. Next, Marvel is truly fucked with the whole Kang angle, since one of the top deal maker who has seen the final Loki episode. I want to know who is a deal maker. What does that mean? And they haven't had an opportunity to rewrite until the very recent because of the WGA strike. But I don't see a path how they can move forward with him. Again, if he's innocent, if he's proven innocent, then how can't you not move forward with him? But again, they're painting this man, if he's just guilty, how can you move forward with this guy who is accused of alleged domestic assault, even though that there's other evidence to say the contrary? But let me not go there. Beyond the bad press from Majors, the brain trust at Marvel is also grappling the November release of The Marvels, a sequel to 2019's blockbuster Captain Marvel that has been played with lengthy reshoots and now appears likely to underwhelm at the box office. This is all as an unprecedented turn of events for a company that has enjoyed nearly interrupted stirring of his since it started independently producing its movies in 2008's Iron Man. That wildly profitable run accumulated to in the 2 billion success of 2019's Avengers Endgame, a high watermark for the studio that has earned nearly 30 billion over 32 films. And if you think about it, that's literally $1 billion of film. Even though we keep saying all this film underwhelmed here, this film underwhelmed there, that's literally $1 billion of film. So the average is really good right now. Replicating that kind of phenomenon is never easy. However, the source and Marvel's current troubles can be tracked back to 2020. That's when the COVID pandemic ushered in a mandate to help boost Disney's stock price with an endless source of interconnected Marvel content for the studio's flagship streaming platform, Disney Plus. According to the plan, there would never been a lapse in superhero fare with either a film or in theaters or a new television series streaming at any given moment. But the ensuing tsunami of spandex proved to be too much for a good thing, and the demands of churning out so much programming taxed the Marvel's apparatus. Moreover, they need to tease out an interwoven storyline over so many desperate shows, movies, and platforms, creating a muddled narrative that baffled viewers. Next, the Marvel machine was pumping out a lot of content. Did it get to the point where there was just too much and they were burning people out on superheroes? It's possible, says Wall Street analyst Eric Handler, who covers Disney. The more you do, the tougher it is to maintain quality. They tried to experimenting with breaking in some new characters like Shang-Chi and the Eternals with mixed results. With budgets as big as these, you need home runs. The Marvels, which opened in theaters November 10th, will struggle to get the ball past the infield, at least by Marvel's outside standards. The movie, which cost 250 million, sees Brie Larson reprising her role as Captain Marvel. Is tracking to open at 75 million to 80 million, far below the 185 million Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness took in domestically in its debut weekend last year. Now, I've already made a video. You can go back and check this. How would the Marvel fare? They're saying 75 to 80 million. I'm looking at more, probably 100 million for that opening weekend. Again, they haven't been able to market the movie because of the actor strike right now. And if you actually take into consideration that Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was coming off. Well, before that, the highly decorated Disney Plus show WandaVision ushered in Multiverse of Madness. There's nothing that ushers in Captain Marvel because of how lackluster Secret Wars has been. So we got to keep that into consideration when we're talking about this movie. Again, I'm tracking it at maybe 100 million because I believe that the movie probably will be better than expected, and word of mouth is going to come along and be like, hey, you probably want to see this. So that's where I'm tracking it at. Let's keep going. Directed by Nia DaCosta, the Marvels unites Larsa's heroine with two superpower allies, Tiana Paris's Monica Rambeau, introduced in 2021's Disney Plus series WandaVision, and Iman Vellani's Kamala Khan, first seen in 2022's Miss Marvel. But instead of seamlessly building on the success of Captain Marvel, this move resulted in 4 weeks of reshoots to bring coherence to a triangle story. Then eyebrows were raised again when DaCosta began working on another film while the Marvels were still in post-production. The filmmaker moved to London earlier this year to begin prepping for her Tessa Thompson drama Hedda, representation for DaCosta's decline to comment. If you're directing a $250 million movie, it's kind of weird for the director to leave with a few months to go, says a source familiar with the production. I do agree with that. The Marvels has seen its release date move back twice, too. Once to swap places with Quantumania, which was deemed further along, and again, when it debuted, shifted from July to November to give the filmmaker more time to tinker. But the extra time didn't necessarily help. In June, Marvel, which traditionally only solicits feedback from Disney employees and their friends and family, took uncharacteristic steps of holding a public test screening in Texas. The audience gave the film middling reviews. All right, next. But Marvel has never been in the business of being average, Kevin Kevin's real superpower, his genius has always been post-production and getting his hands on movies, making sure they are finished strongly. The source adds, these days he's spread thin. Feige declined to comment for the story. Wow. Feige isn't the only person showing signs of strain. Marvel's entire VFX battalion, including the staffers and vendors, is struggling to keep pace with a never-ending stream of production. The past February, when the credits rolled at the world premiere of Quantumania, shock rippled through the Regency Village Theater in Westwood over some shoddy CGI. There was at least 10 scenes of visually effects that had been added at the last minute and were out of focus, says one veteran power broker who was there. It was insane. I never seen something like this in my entire career. Everyone is talking about it. Even the kids of executives were talking about it. The schedule swap with the Marvels had left Ant-Man's sequel in a squeeze, pushing this post-production schedule by 4.5 months. Marvel films are known for coming down to the wire. Even Kevin Feige's ability to phone the runway and land a plane that way, says one executive familiar with how the company operates. But this level of unfinished was unprecedented and would be noted in scathing reviews when the tentpole with the $200 million budget opened 11 days after the premiere. Critics weren't the only one dismayed. Fed up with 14-hour days and no overtime, Marvel's VFX workers voted unanimously to unionize in September, sparking an industry-wide trend. The year 2023 has been a straw that broke the camel's back, says former Marvel's VFX assistant coordinator Anna George, who appeared before the Congressional Labor Caucus on October the 19th to testify about the studio's instability, deadlines, and working conditions. The pay is long. The hours of Marvel were reasons that we had to start unionizing processes there. The conditions were unsustainable. Disney top brass included newly returned CEO Bob Iger was said to be apocalyptic about Marvel's VFX troubles. 1 month after the Quantumania premiere debacle, the guillotine fell on Victoria Alonso, who oversaw the studio's physical production, post-production, VFX, and animation. While the reasons cited for her abrupt firing was her unauthorized role as an executive producer on the Oscar-nominated film Argentina in 1985, Insider says Disney was incensed that quality control on its Marvel productions was plummeting, particularly on the ever-expanded TV front. The VFX logjam has been evident for some time, with some final effects for Disney Plus series of WandaVision and She-Hulk Attorney at Law inserting after the streaming debut. That Alonso was busy promoting her art house project while Rome Byrne certainly didn't sit well with Disney's leadership. Alonso's attorney says her client is unable to comment. There's a lot of people that's unable to comment. And I'm not going to read all of this. You guys could, I got the brunt of what's going on. You guys can read this for yourself. I will put a link in the description. But there's a lot going on in Marvel, especially when it comes to Jonathan Majors. Again, Variety is pulled, to me, reading over a lot of the Jonathan Majors case and a lot of the things that we've seen with Jonathan Majors. To me, the Insider has made a lot of hit pieces towards him and not been fair, and is in the goings ons on the actual case, especially stuff that the Insider pointed out and not sharing that with his audience. So when someone reads a Variety and they talk about this, they're going to be like, oh, well, Jonathan Majors is just, the worst human being in the world, and not really having journalism integrity to be able to talk about these things without being biased in its assertion of Jonathan Majors. But I do want to read this. And I'm skipping ahead. Will that solve Marvel's major problems? When Quantumania actor was arrested in March, Disney executives insisted that they could afford to play a wait and see, given that Avengers Kang Dynasty wasn't expected to begin shooting until early 2024. But when Majors was dropped in quick succession by his publication and managers, he remains a client at WME, the agency where he landed after CAA parted ways with him pre-arrest for his brutal contact towards staff, says one source. CAA declined to comment. Again, these Variety is saying, hey, it was Jonathan Majors, this abusive to you out. There's like, I'm not talking. That gives me pause. that Variety is coming out with this piece, but nobody is talking about it. Kevin Feige, you know what I'm saying? CAA, the man, just talk about what your client did. Nobody is talking about that. That's giving me pause. That's making me seem like there's something more to this story than meets the eye. Is it a hit piece? Is it a hit piece for Jonathan Majors? That's fluffed in here with all the Marvel stuff. To me, it is, because again, he goes to trial on November 20. He goes to trial later on this month. As the date of this recording. So yeah, there is a lot of pause, but let me continue to go and read the rest of this. In April, other alleged domestic. See what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying, but they won't talk about the video that shows Jonathan Majors alleged victim partying and hanging out in meeting up with strangers or trying to get an Uber from these strangers, and not telling these strangers that Jonathan Majors assaulted her before. She just told them that he was cheating on her and trying to get sympathy with the tears. Check out She Dressed Me's video on that. Excuse me. It is excellent. But again, let me go and read this. And let me not get in my feelings. Let me go ahead and finish reading this. In April, other alleged domestic violence victims and Majors began cooperating with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Then, ahead of a key hearing in October, media outlets, including Variety, obtained a court filing that referenced a police incident in London involving Majors that led his ex-girlfriend to seek medical attention, making matters worse, even stickier. And we still haven't found out about that also. Do you see that we haven't found out what happened in London that night? But they were trying to gather that information. Wouldn't that information be at least, be public knowledge by now? Let me keep continue. All right, so making matters worse, even stickier, the ex-girlfriend who also worked on Quantumania as a movement coach in the London incident took place while Majors was shooting season 2 of Loki on October 25th. A New York judge denied Majors' motion to dismiss the case, which ensures the actor will stand trial in late November. His legal team is attempting to keep some materials in the case sealed. What makes matters worse is that the insider, Variety is not talking about the insider's report. They're not talking about the way that she was kicking in and all of that stuff afterwards. They're not talking about Majors' injuries in his counter case against her that was not picked up, that she was charged and arrested, but the Manhattan District Attorney refused to prosecute her. So the double standard that goes on in these DV cases is real, and Variety is failing to tell you that. Again, they're failing to tell you that. And again, to me, this has less to do with Marvel and the crap that they got going on. It has more to do with Jonathan Majors and what they got going on, what he has going on, so they can be able to fluff that into this piece. So they can say, look, Marvel has their problems. But one deal maker. What does deal maker mean? What does that mean? It says, oh, they're fucked. You know what I'm saying? Because they got this major problem. So this, again, to me, is a lot more than meets the eye. And a lot more, what I mean is there's a lot more fluff in here. And the real issue is getting out to say, if I read the story long enough, I'll still believe Jonathan Majors is just guilty without all the rest of the evidence. Let me continue. A studio source notes that regardless of the actor's legal issues, Marvel already has considered moving away from Majors-led phase because of the box office performance of Quantumania, which will struggle to make a profit. It gave people pause given that Quantumania didn't exactly land, the source says. On October 27th, Disney removed another major film, Searchlight Magazine Dreams, from its release calendar. Again, this has to do with Jonathan Majors. It has nothing to do with Marvel. Again, go through the fees, go through the fluff, find the real bone. You know what I mean? Recasting Majors is also an option, as Feige did when he replaced Terrence Howard in Iron Man 2 with Don Cheadle. In fact, Marvel isn't afraid to change directions even after making splashy announcements. Armor Wars was first unrevealed as a series and now being developed as a feature, while the studio pushed to adapt the comic book Inhumans into a feature film. Generated headlines, but now dormant. The now defunct Marvel television matter in the Inhuman television series in 2017 that ran for one season on ABC. Hold on real quick. Let me see if there's anything that actually has to do with Jonathan Majors real quick. And it looks like that's it. That's it. But again, you guys can read this for yourself. You know, you can, and again, to me, there is a issue, you know, with Jonathan Majors being arrested. I'm not denying Variety's claims of saying that. There was an issue with that. And I get that. At the same time, journalism integrity has to come into play, and you have to be able to say, well, this is also things that's going on. So yeah, there is an issue with Jonathan Majors. Yes, he was arrested. Yeah, and not saying that he actually was arrested after a wellness check, because the alleged victim was in the closet, passed out, and her injuries was unknown prior to the wellness check, because they were trying to figure out if she unalived herself. Again, that's what Variety is not saying in this piece. So there's a lot in this piece that Variety is not saying. So when you're reading the Variety piece, literally, if you go through the fluff of all the problems that Marvel has, the real issue is making sure that you know that Jonathan Majors is guilty of everything that he has done. And yes, we're not going to tell you about anything else. Just realize Jonathan Majors is guilty. So that's what this piece is actually about. It has nothing to do. It does have things to do with Marvel, which I believe with Bob Iger back at the helm. They're not talking about how Bob Chapek was trying to be Master P and push all this content with Marvel onto the streaming platform. They have it as big as Netflix. They're not really, they kind of tell you that, but they're not giving you the timeline of events to let you know how they got to this point. You know what I mean? And who was the players in here? And just because you said you got deal makers here and you got people that's saying this here, Variety, none of these people actually commented that you need to comment. Just like CAA, who dropped Jonathan Majors from their deal, they even declined to comment on anything that you had to say. So again, what is really going on in this piece that you're really talking about? Is it really about Jonathan Majors? Because he was the major person that you put as the headline. You know what I'm saying? After Marvel's crisis at Marvel, Jonathan Majors' problem, the problem with that was the headline. The first thing you talked about, not what's going on with the studio, not what's going on with the VFX team, the things that's going to keep this franchise together. No, you made sure that Jonathan Majors was the main player in this. Again, what do you guys think? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video. Don't forget to comment. Tell me what you think. And again, I will make sure to put a link in the comment section to this video so you can know everything. I mean, to the article, so you know everything that's going on with this article, and you can read it for yourself. And then you can be able to decipher for yourself what is going on. Again, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell notification so you never, ever miss one of my videos again. Until next time, I'll holler at you guys later. Peace and vibe hard, y'all. Y'all have a good rest of your day, man. Where's my outro at? Gotta get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Gotta let the forehead breathe. Wait a minute. You're telling me the video's over? What? Okay, I guess so. If you have came to this portion of the video, thank you so very much for sticking to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell notification so you never miss one of my videos. And if you really want to, you don't got to, go ahead and follow the social media links that's down below. Until next time, I'll let you guys later. Peace and vibe higher, y'all. Y'all take care of yourself.